Alright, so here we go. In Xcode, we want to open up a new project. We're going to do a command line tool because that's written in C. And we'll go ahead and name this YouTube. And we'll save this. And so far in the book, all the programming we've done has been the file main C, so we'll open that. And Apple already includes a application which will run and type the string hello world. And basically a breakdown of the function. This is the function declaration, the main function, and it goes and calls the function printf. And what the printf function does is it prints all the text in between this quotation mark and this quotation mark. It doesn't print the \n, and the reason why is that just moves the cursor to the next line. That tells the compiler, print all this and then move the cursor to the line below. That way if we wanted to print anything else, we can do so after that. The return statement, the return 0 statement, that lets the compiler know that you are done with this function and everything ended normally. So just to test it, I'm going to go ahead and change this to hello YouTube instead of hello world. We'll open our console window where our program runs and see if it works. So as you can see, you can ignore all this stuff that's written. Basically all you need to see is right here, it printed the string hello YouTube, so we know that our application, it got up and running and worked normally. Go ahead and point out that before I get started on what I learned next, I wanted to go ahead and point out that these two characters right here, when you put those anywhere, it creates a green line, and you can insert any comments, anything like that, just basically notes about your code that you've written, and it won't affect your program at all. It's basically just for you to see when you're coding so that you can keep track of what you've been doing. So the next thing I learned about is variables, and a variable is declared to reserve memory to hold a value. So when you want to declare a variable, I'll get rid of this, you first put what type of variable you want to declare. So far in the book, we've only dealt with variables of type int, so I will go ahead and use that one. And it is a variable that deals with numbers. So I can put a numerical value into this variable. It holds the value. So I will call it my variable. So you're basically just putting the type of variable and then naming the variable, and you can name it whatever you like. So if you want to declare more than one variable, you could just separate them with a comma, and we'll have my other variable. And when you're all done, you'll end with a semicolon. Next, I learned about operators, and operators are used to assign a value to a variable. For instance, we'll have my variable equals 20. Now the equal sign is the operator because it's the character that's assigning the value to my variable. And you could also go 10 times 2 equals 20. And that is using two operators, the equal operator and the multiple operator, because it's altering the value. Instead of being 10, it's changing it to times 2, which equals 20, and then assigning 20 to the my variable. And after you're done with that statement, you'll end with a semicolon. And for my other variable, I can have it equal my variable plus 1, which should yield a result of 21. Now, as we saw earlier, I can use the function printf, It's already got my quotation marks there. My variable equals. And the book hasn't really discussed what %d is or what type of code object or it is, but it does say that that will not type %d, it'll show yield the result. So it should, by me doing %d, it should say 20. And then I would want to go to the next line, and then we want to have the results of what my variable equals. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll have another printf function for my other variable, a %d. And we want the %d to yield the results of my other variable. And then we'll have our return statement saying everything should run fine. So let's go ahead and open our console window, clear this log, and build our application. And there we go. Our application assigned the value of my variable to 20 and my other variable to 21, and we have two printf statements to go ahead and print the results of each one. And that so far is what I've learned from my Learn C on the Mac. Great book, highly recommend it. Halfway through it, I'll keep you updated on the other half as soon as I get that finished.